If you've been listening to the podcast over the last year or so, you have no doubt heard me mention continuous glucose monitors from time to time. But today, I wanted to do more than just mention it. Today, I want to go deeper into what are continuous glucose monitors, also known as CGMs. How do they work? And I want to give you 3 reasons that I think you might want to consider trying one, even if you don't think you need one. Let's go. Welcome to If Mama Ain't Healthy, Ain't Nobody Healthy. I'm your host, Lori Morris, a Christian midwife, mama of 3, and wellness coach who believes your body isn't broken, it's beautifully designed by God. Here we talk about how to restore your energy, balance your hormones, and find peace and true wellness in your body again, no matter what stage of motherhood you're in. Whether you're pregnant, postpartum, in the messy middle of mom life, or you're trying to conceive. And we do it all through biblical truth and practical, holistic living. Because you're not meant to just survive motherhood, you're meant to thrive in it. Let's dive in. So to kick off today's show, I want to acknowledge what you probably can hear, no problem, and that is that I have gotten to live up to my last podcast. The flu messed me, but a cold got me, and so I have been able to put into practice everything that I talked to you about last week, and as a result, it actually hasn't been very bad at all. I actually sound worse than I am, so just want to acknowledge that the things that I talked to you about really do work. This has not been bad at all, but it's just kind of ironic that here I am sounding all nasal the week after I talked to you about cold and flu. So just want to acknowledge it so you don't have to behind my back. Also, big announcement. You've heard me talking about Verity Village for some time now. I wanted to let you know an opening date has been set. The grand opening of Verity Village will be January 1st, 2026. Verity Village is going to be a place for you to belong, a place for you to come and learn with support and information that you can trust. And by the way, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, the word verity means truth. It is a village of truth. Community is so important. We've talked about that here. We've talked about how you need people in your corner. You need your people to help you along the way in life. Not only just because it makes you feel better, makes you happier, but it's actually impactful for your health. It's so important. But most of the places that we have tried to have that community in this day and time are loud. They're full of ads. They're literally designed to distract you from why you're there. I know you've all logged on to Facebook or Instagram or something like that before, and you're there looking for something in particular. And before you get to the thing you were looking for, you have been pulled away into something that you weren't looking for, and you may never actually even get to your original intent for being there. You might completely forget about why you showed up, right? That will not be a problem for you in Verity Village. I'm building it on a platform without those distractions. When you come to the village, you will only be in the village, and you will only see the things that you came to see. There's a village clinic inside of the village, and that's going to be for where you go to find out what do you need to do when you've got a sickness. How do you deal with it? What kind of things naturally can you look at as options to help yourself heal? There's a village birth center, and that's a place for pregnant mamas to learn more about giving birth God's way. There's a village library where you can research and learn things about all sorts of topics, but one of the biggest ones to start is shots. You're going to finally have a place where you can learn openly and speak openly and ask your questions openly without worrying about being canceled or censored. We're going to have regular meetings where you can get your questions answered. There will also be chats for you, no matter what stage of motherhood or womanhood that you're in. There's a chat for every stage. So you can find other women who are like you, no matter where you are in life. Like-minded support is so crucial. Having community and support is as important to your health as what you eat, believe it or not. So consider this a part of learning to live your life in alignment with God's design for your body. This is one of your last chances, the last couple of weeks, for you to get yourself on the waiting list and get the exclusive founders discount. That discount will only be offered to the people on that list as a special thank you for being the first residents of the Verity Village. You can get on that list today by going to https://www.morriswellnessservices.com/village waiting. There's a link below if you don't want to type all that in, no problem. Get on there now before you forget and miss out. This is going to be the place to be. It's going to be what you've been looking for, and you're going to have all of the support that you've wondered where it was. You have finally found it. All right, with that, let's get into today's topic. You may be surprised to learn that over 90% of Americans have some degree of metabolic dysfunction. What that means is that 9 out of 10 people in this country are not functioning the way God designed them to function at a cellular level. 9 out of 10 of you listening right now are not functioning at a cellular level the way God designed you to. That means at the tiniest level of your body, and that can seem sometimes so small and insignificant, but remember, every part of your body is made of cells. So if these cells of your kidneys, for instance, or your brain, or your skin, or your liver, or your muscles, or any other organ system in your body, if those cells are not functioning properly, they're not doing their job properly, and you're not going to feel good. Okay? It is very important. In fact, it's probably the most important thing. It is where your energy comes from. It's where your health stems from. So if you are one of those 9 out of 10 people, which statistically speaking, there's a good chance that you are, your body is not functioning the way that God designed it to down at the level of your cells. And this comes from the standard American diet. Over years of eating these foods and then also living the sedentary American lifestyle, your body has adapted, but not for the good. That diet and that lifestyle combined with continual high stress, which so many of us have, even if we don't really realize it, even if you don't feel stressed out, your lifestyle often puts your body in a state of stress that you don't appreciate, you don't realize. When I say appreciate, I mean like you don't realize that it's there, which that leads to chronic inflammation, which leads to more physiological stress. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. The good news is these cycles are reversible, but the main problem is that most people don't even know they're dealing with it. I just said 9 out of 10 people have this problem, but I would venture to say as many as 7 or 8 of those 9 don't know they have it. We are lulled into thinking that what we eat doesn't matter, how we live doesn't matter, and that the things that happen to us just happen by chance. We also will go to our doctors and we'll get our annual labs and they'll tell us everything is fine. But in reality, they're not looking at the right labs and they're also not looking at optimal levels, and they're comparing us with everybody else who's sick in America. And so they send you home telling you that you're fine, but in reality, there's damage being done at a cellular level that you're not aware of. And you go on about your business not realizing something's up until you get that diagnosis 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Okay, this is big stuff. The reality is that we are a very unhealthy country, but we do not have to be. You do not have to be. There are some simple things that can make all the difference in your overall health. When I realized I was one of these 90+% in the fall of 2024, just a little bit over a year ago, I got busy fast. I took it as a blessing because it was an explanation of what had been going on that I couldn't explain, and it was a warning sign. Not a day has gone by since I figured these things out last year that I haven't thought on some level about what I needed to do that day to heal my body a little bit more. And one of the greatest tools I've had at my disposal in this journey is the continuous glucose monitor, the CGM. I talk about them on here a lot, but it dawned on me that I haven't really ever gone into detail with them. I haven't really explained what they are, what they do, how to use one, and why you might need one. So today I'm going to break it down for you and give you 3 reasons that you might want to consider getting one yourself, even if you don't think you're one of those 9 out of 10. So what is a CGM? Again, a CGM is a continuous glucose monitor, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It continually monitors your glucose. It was originally a tool for diabetics to be able to track their blood glucose in real time without having to stick themselves so often, because they are usually insulin dependent, meaning they have to have insulin manually given to them through an injection if they are type 1 diabetic. Their bodies are not making any insulin. And so they have to have this to stay alive. And by having this continuous tool, they didn't have to prick their finger over and over. And they got a more real-time read rather than just a snapshot time where then they're having to decide how much insulin to give themselves for that one number, not knowing what the number was 10 minutes before or 10 minutes after. It might not be the right number to even to treat. Okay, so that's where this came from, but now it is available to people who aren't just type 1 diabetics. It connects, the way it works is it connects with an app on your cell phone, and it updates at regular intervals for you to be able to see how your blood sugar trends in real time. Some types of CGMs, some brands of CGMs update very frequently. These are usually the ones that are designed for type 1 diabetics. Those types have robust alarm systems because these people they really have to keep a very tight watch on their glucose because it is so vital for them just to stay alive, believe it or not. If that is you, if you are if you are a type 1 diabetic, you probably aren't even listening anymore because that is all old news for you. You've probably been using these for years. So I'm going to assume from this point forward that I'm talking to non-diabetics, or maybe people with pre-diabetes, or maybe people who have type 1 or have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes who have not used a continuous glucose monitor before. If you've been diagnosed with diabetes, most likely you will if you have not been diagnosed with diabetes, you most likely will not be able to get a prescription for a CGM, but that is okay because there are now CGMs available without a prescription. The one I've used the most, the brand is called Stelo, Stelo. You can look it up yourself, or I will have an affiliate link for you in the description, hopefully in the next couple of days. It might not be there right when the podcast goes live, but you can look down there, and if you see a link, you'll know that it's there now. Just look down in the show notes. Like I said, the link will pop up when it's available. The app for the Stelo CGM is free, and it's really easy to use. It updates about every 50, or not about every 15 minutes, it updates every 15 minutes, and it gives you 3 readings every 15 minutes. So you get a reading every 5 minutes, and you get those all uploaded to your phone every 15. I hope that made sense. So how do you apply a CGM? I want you to see how easy it is to apply. Okay, so just after I say this, I am going to show you a video of me applying my current CGM when I put it on a few days ago. If you're listening on the audio podcast app, when you're able to, be sure you go check out my YouTube channel so that you can see the video of how to do this. It is so easy. It is very, I won't say painless. You definitely feel it go on, but it's really not a big deal at all. It just kind of feels like something kind of popped your hand or something, or your arm actually. So it's really not a big deal, and I want you to see for yourself how easy it is to do. So here's that video. Okay, so y'all know that I love you, right? Because it is so cold in my office. The building that I rent from, when I came in this morning, I guess they turned the heat down when nobody's around. And half the time nobody's around because it's actually in a real estate office and they are always out working other places. She's not always here. So the heat was set on 59 and it's like 30 outside. But to show you how to apply a continuous glucose monitor, I took off my sweater and I am in a short sleeve t-shirt and it's cold. Okay. That's my little caveat. It has nothing to do with anything. Okay. So I've told you all before, I use the Stelo, and I've already opened it. The box is open, but I use the Stelo continuous glucose monitor. You can get these without a prescription. And if you're going to get one, I highly recommend this either way because it's just so easy. I'll show you some things from the app a little later. But I just right now want to show you how you put these on. So when you open the box up, you get this, which is the actual applicator, and you get this little pack. Inside the pack is this little Band-Aid thingy that you put over it. And it also has a start here guide, and then like this in detail guide that is like huge. It's like one of those drug insert type of things. I mean, look how big it's getting, and that's just from the first thing, and then look. So it's got lots of information if you really want to know about it. It'll tell you all about how to put it in. It gives you the steps on how to put it in, what's on the app, what it's going to tell you. It gives you all kinds of different warnings or different things like that, like how to store, what to know while you're using your sensor, what to know about the biosensor, how to store the sensor. I already said that. Different stuff like that. So if you're interested in all that, it's there. My guess is you don't, because you're watching this video, and that's cool. There's also the start here guide here that does much of the same thing in the pictures. It tells you how to get started. Also, the app will walk you through it. So like when you go into the app and you say, I'm putting on a new sensor, everything will be there. You can do it all inside of that. But if you don't want to do all that, I'm going to show you how to do it right here, okay? First thing you want to do, first of all, you can see my last one, I think. Yeah, because it's still gummy on there. I couldn't get all the gummy stuff off. Just a little pro tip, and I knew this, but I didn't have it with me when I took mine off. Using a little bit of some kind of an oil will take it off better than anything. I've been in the shower several times. I've scrubbed it. I've used alcohol. It hasn't worked, but I didn't have the oil with me at the right time. So if you'll use just like a little bit of olive oil or something like that, it will kind of release the rest of that sticky and it'll come off. I just haven't really fought with it yet. Okay, so this time it is going onto my left arm. You want to put it into a place where you've got some subcutaneous fat. Okay, you don't want to put it directly on a muscle. So the place I recommend you put it is here on the back of your arm, where most of us have plenty of subcutaneous fat. I am using an alcohol swab just because I'm at my office right now and that's all I had. You don't need swabs. You can just use alcohol out of a bottle with, tissue or a paper towel or whatever. Okay. All right. So what you do, you take first of all, you want your site to be completely dry. I can still feel it's wet, but by the time we get everything done, it should be fine. You're going to take the bottom off of your sensor. On one side, let me just show you real quick. On one side, you'll see there's like a QR code and a number. When you go into the app, to tell it that you've put on a new sensor, it's going to ask you to either take a picture of that or put the number in. That's how it connects to your phone some kind of way. Okay, the sensor in it, that's how it works. On this side, there is a button. That button does nothing until I'll show you as I open it. So the way you open is you just twist it. Okay, and then the little seal will break, so you'll know it's been opened. This is the inside of it. You can see there is a little needle there. That needle does not stay in. It's a teeny tiny little wire that stays in. And you'll see that this clear part, see how it pushes down? Hopefully you can see that. It pushes down. That's basically like the safety. So when you get ready to put it on, you're going to mash it against your arm, and that's going to hold that in. And then when you push the button, that will put it onto your arm. I do not think that this hurts at all. It basically just feels like you got smacked or like just kind of popped a little bit. Interesting. I was thinking when I was taking my old one off that actually hurts worse than putting it on, is the taking it off part. Okay. Let me try to adjust the camera down just a little bit so you can see well. You're going to see like microphone stuff and everything you might not normally see. Okay, so back of my arm, I'm going to mash it in. It's a little awkward. Like I can't do it with my thumb really at this angle. I'm going to have to do it with my finger, but I'm just going to mash it in to where it's flat on my arm, and then I'm going to hit the button. And that's it. See it? It's on there. And if you choose to, you can put this over it. I usually like to have somebody else do it because I end up getting it all bent up and creased and stuff. Honestly, I think this time I'm going to actually try to not use that. It is wintertime. My arms are not out very much. They're usually covered up. And furthermore, that thing is not easy to get off. Neither is this. And this has a ton of sticky on it. And so I really don't think it's going to get knocked off. I've had them get bumped. I've had them, drag on things, and I've never had one rip off. And so to keep from having all the goopy, ugly Band-Aid residue look on, like I have on this arm right now that I can't get off, or I haven't gotten off yet, I think this time I'm actually going to not use this. But I will keep it just in case it does feel like it's starting to get loose. But honestly, this little circle here that's on the inside, it doesn't really touch very much with that sticker that's a part of it. And so I don't know that this is really doing that much. This thing has plenty of gooey on it. Now, this is just my opinion. If don't put the sticky on and it ends up falling off, don't blame me. Do what you think is best. But for me this time, I'm actually not going to put this on. Okay. That is the application of the CGM. By the way, I'll show you now the inside of this. The thing is gone. The needle, if you look in here, you can see the needle is inside. You probably can't see it on the video, but after you do it, you'll be able to see the needle is on the inside. It is not still in me. I wish I would have kept my old one so I could have showed you what the little wire looks like, but it's teeny tiny. This is just kind of like the thing that gets it into your skin. So it's really not that bad. I mean, you see I did it. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Everything is good, right? So hopefully that helps you know more firsthand about how to put on a continuous glucose monitor. All right, so how does a CGM work? Well, after you apply your CGM, as you saw in the last video, there is a little teeny tiny wire that is now underneath your skin. It's not a full needle. The needle is just used to apply it. The wire stays below your skin. In that little wire, or underneath the gray part that you see on the outside of your skin, there's that little wire, and it is going under the skin, and it's hanging out in what's called the interstitial space. That is just the space in between your cells, basically. It's hanging out in the fluid around your cells. It's not actually reading your blood sugar per se, but it's a step past that. So the sugar has left the bloodstream and it's now in the fluid around the cells waiting to be carried into the cells. So it's a similar reading, but that's part of the reason why there's a delay in you getting the numbers. So you might eat something and it might take 15 or 20 minutes before it ever shows up in your numbers because it takes a little while for your body to take this sugar from your stomach to your bloodstream into this interstitial space. Okay? The sensor on that little wire uses an enzyme that reacts with glucose, and that reaction creates a tiny little electrical signal, which then gets sent back to the transmitter, which then sends that information to your phone. More glucose means more of that signal, which gives a higher number. Okay, so that's kind of the ins and outs of how it works. The transmitter, again, then takes that information and sends it to your phone in a way that you can use it. Your phone plots the numbers in the app, so you get a number of where you are now, and maybe every time it updates, you might get the last 15 minutes or so if you're using Stello. So you're getting those numbers. Then you're also going to get what's called a trend arrow. That trend arrow tells you if your level right now is steady, if it's rising fast, if it's rising slow, if it's dropping slow, if it's dropping fast. You get all of that information, and it gives you a graph where you can kind of see the trends of your blood sugar over the last hours, days, weeks. You can kind of scroll back and see what it was last week, all kinds of different information. And so from that, you can gather a pretty good idea about how your body is responding to some different situations. So now I want to give you 3 reasons why you might want to consider getting one, even if you don't think you need one, even if you don't think you're one of these 9 out of 10. Are you maybe somebody who is having problems and you just don't know it yet? These are 3 reasons why you might want to try this out just to find out if it might be you. Number 1, you get real, actionable information about how your body responds to different foods and different things in your life. You're going to learn which foods spike your blood sugar that you might not have even thought that it would. You're going to learn which meals actually your body handles pretty well and keeps you really steady. What foods have you been eating that you thought were healthy but might actually be sending your blood sugar sky high? How does eating protein first in your meal change how your blood sugar reacts? Does your body agree with you when you say that you eat well? That's a big one. Some people really feel like they're eating well, but when they see what their blood sugar does in response to their normal diet, they see that maybe they haven't been eating as well as they thought. It also will show you how your body responds to good sleep, not enough sleep, things like stress and movement. You'll get to see how your body responds to that on a cellular level when it comes to your metabolism and your blood sugar. Number 2, it can actually be a great weight loss tool. Learning to blunt the blood sugar spike means that you're also going to blunt the insulin spike. There's no real-time way right now available for you to watch your insulin. But you know that your body releases insulin in response to sugar. So if your sugar isn't going as high, the need for insulin won't be as high, so your insulin level won't be as high. But why does that matter? Well, because besides being the vehicle that carries glucose into the cells, insulin is an excellent fat storing hormone. And who wants that, right? Nobody wants extra fat being stored on their body, or no, I don't think anybody wants that, at least not in all our culture. So when you learn how to blunt those blood sugar spikes through activity, through better diet choices and things like that, you will have a lower level of insulin over time, which means you will have a lower amount of fat storing by insulin. So if your insulin levels are continually high because of continually high level of glucose, you're going to have a higher amount of fat storage. And then the opposite is true as well. If your glucose levels are continually steady and you're not having to have those big dumps of insulin to take care of the glucose, then you're not going to have the fat storage from the insulin. So learning to reverse those blood glucose spikes will help your weight start to fall off. For me personally, I thought I was doing everything right. I had been exercising. I thought I was eating well. I thought that I was just maybe at a new normal of my weight, that I was just never going to lose it. It was just where I was because I was in my 40s now. And, maybe this is just how it's going to be, because you hear that women in their 40s gain weight and this and that and the other, right? Well, turns out when I figured this out, and I started wearing a continuous glucose monitor, and I started managing those blood sugar spikes and learning how to keep them from happening, weight fell off. And I mean fell off. In 3 months, I lost 15 pounds. And as of today, I'm 20 pounds down from where I was this time last year because of this one tool and learning how to use it to my body's advantage. All right, number 3. You can see through what you're going to learn from the CGM if you actually might be one of those 90+% people before your labs show it. I mentioned this earlier, but standard labs that most providers do won't actually show insulin resistance until it's been going on for as much as 15 years. You may be going to the doctor or nurse practitioner or whoever right now, and they may tell you that your labs look great, you're doing good. And yet, because their normal values are not actually optimal values, and because they're not looking at the labs they need to in concert with each other, in collaboration with each other, they're missing the big picture. And they often miss it until the actual diagnosis of prediabetes hits. That's where I was. My labs looked normal. I'd been told every year at my annual at the VA, for those of you who don't know, I'm a veteran, and so I get my women's health care from the VA, and every year I'm being told everything looks great. And yet I know something's not right. And this was the thing. This was the piece of the puzzle that wasn't there, because they weren't looking at the right labs, and they certainly weren't looking at them all together. So I was well down the road to metabolic dysfunction, all while being told that I was fine. And there's a very good chance you're in that same place. By the time your labs, the standard labs that most providers do, by the time those show that you have insulin resistance, metabolic dysfunction, it's likely been going on for as much as 10 to 15 years. That's 10 to 15 years of damage that you didn't know was happening because you were told everything was fine. That's why with my one-on-one clients, we look at a broad spectrum of metabolic labs in conjunction with 2 weeks of CGM data so that we can see what's really going on with your body and start to work to reverse it. Labs plus a CGM are actually included in the coaching package when you work with me as a one-on-one client, because otherwise we're just shooting in the dark. We can make some good guesses and we can make some good progress, but without knowing what's actually going on in your body through your actual numbers, it's a little bit of a guessing game. But we don't guess in coaching. What we do is we get down to business. We find out what's really going on in your body, and a CGM shows us if your body is overreacting to the foods you eat, which is a classic sign of insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction. I have a couple of clients I can think of right now off the top of my head who, by their labs alone, even looking at the broad spectrum of metabolic labs, their labs weren't that bad per se, But when we got the CGM and we put that on, we suddenly saw that they actually were well on their way down the road. They just hadn't seen it yet. Their labs were still maintaining. Your body will try to keep up for a while, and eventually it just can't do it anymore. And that's when the lab numbers start to go up. But that CGM, that little piece, showed us before those labs started to go up that, hey, we got some work to do here. And so now they have actionable steps that they can take to reverse this before it even becomes a lab problem. Okay. And that's what you get when you work with me one-on-one, is that we get into this stuff in your specific situation so that we can really help you find out what you need to do to finally get well. Within minutes of putting on that CGM, you're going to start getting insight into how well your body is doing with managing glucose, and that is invaluable. A CGM is a learning tool to help you understand how your body is functioning metabolically. It's an easy thing that you can do on your own to get a glimpse into what's going on. However, without proper training and mentorship, it can be really hard to know what you actually need to do. It's like, okay, well, I've got these numbers and I see this graph and I know that something's not right, but what am I supposed to do with this? It's like, am I just doomed? Am I stuck here? No, you're not. But sometimes you need a little bit of extra help and somebody walking the path with you so that you can actually start making strides towards health. And that's why I offer one-on-one coaching for women who are ready to truly get their health and wellness under control. I haven't had one client in my program who hasn't had a bit of a shocking, eye-opening experience with their CGM. It has been a wake-up call for all of them, and it has led to some outstanding results. And that's why I include it with the labs for all of my clients. We're coming up on a new year right now. As I record this, we're right in the middle of December, which means we're only 2 weeks away from 2026. My question for you is, will 2026 be the year you finally learn how to care for your body God's way? Are you going to finally learn what you need to know to be truly healthy through and through, and learn how to work with the way that He designs your body to work? If you're ready for that kind of change, if you're ready for real change that lasts, changes that become lifestyle that aren't even that hard, honestly, then this is for you. If you're tired of broken New Year's resolutions that fall through without the right kind of support to keep going, then I want you to go right now and I want you to apply for a foundation call with me. A foundation call is basically a meet and greet. It's where you and I sit down on a call. I learn more about your situation and we see if we would be a good fit to work together. It's an easy step, but it is a huge step toward putting your health first in 2026. So what I need you to do, if that sounds like you, if you're finding yourself sitting there going, I need this, I know I need this, I need for this path of knowing something's not right, this path of knowing I'm not healthy, but not knowing what to do about it, it's time for that to stop. I'm ready for a change that's going to last. I'm ready to put that in the past and start actually being healthy the way that God designed me to be. If that is you, if you find yourself saying those things, I want you to go to https://www.morriswellnessservices.com/apply. When you go there, there's a few questions it's going to ask you. You're going to get to the end and you're going to click submit. There has been a little snag on that website to where when you click submit, it is not taking you to the page where you can book your call like it's supposed to. I'm working on getting that fixed. But if you get to the end of the application, you click submit, and it just starts doing the little spinning thing and nothing else ever pops up, don't worry. I got your application and I will email you. Just be watching your email. I'll send you the link where you can book your call. It's just a little snag that I'm working with IT people to try to figure out, but we haven't quite nailed it down yet. So I just want you to know that you don't have to go fill it all out again. Just do it one time. I will see that you filled it out and I will be in touch to get your call booked. No problem. Okay. And for those of you who are wanting community in 2026, you're wanting people who are like you and you want to walk with these people through 2026 and beyond, if you want to be in a place where you can learn together and support each other through lasting health changes, if you want to learn the ins and outs of how God made your body to work, then Verity Village is for you. It's a place for all Christian women to gather and finally have a quiet, safe space to get solid information so you can make informed decisions about your health and your family's health. It will be opening January 1st. So this is one of the last chances, as I mentioned earlier, for you to be able to get on the waiting list where you will be getting the founding members discount. So go do that now. This is going to be a blessing for so many of you. So many of you contact me looking for information about this or that situation. And this is a place where it's all going to be housed, where you can get it at your convenience, where we're going to meet together. We're going to answer questions. We're going to talk through situations. We're going to have challenges where we challenge one another to make improvements in our health. It's going to be such a good place, and I want you to be there. So go sign up now so you can get that discount. It's at https://www.morriswellnessservices.com/village waiting. There will be links for all these things down in the show notes. I want you to go get signed up. I want you to be a part of this movement. And then I want you to mark your calendar to meet me back here next week, and I'll see you then. If you were blessed by today's episode, please take a minute to share it with another mama friend you know needs this info, or post a screenshot on your Instagram stories and tag me so I'll know you loved this episode. Then come hop into our Facebook group to find your people and have some like-minded support throughout your week. Also, I'd love it if you'd head to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. You can find links for all of these things in the show notes. I'm so thankful for you, and I look forward to hanging out again with you right here next week.